Let's take a look at this problem. We got f of x is equal to 2 minus x squared. And we want to find f of 3. This is just evaluating a function. And it's always the same. We go through and replace our x with sets of parentheses. Everything else stays as is. So we got 2 minus, and I replace the x with a set of parentheses, and then the squared. Now whatever's inside the parentheses right here is automatically what goes here. So put a 3 in there. So we got 2 minus 3 squared is 9. And 2 minus 9 gives us negative 7. Now our next one is f of negative 1. So again, we're going to go to our original function, and I'll replace all the x's with sets of parentheses. Everything else remains exactly as is. 2 minus and the squared. The only thing we did was replace the x with parentheses. Now whatever's inside of parentheses here is automatically what goes in here. So we got negative 1. So we got 2 minus. Now negative 1 squared. Negative 1 times negative 1 is a positive 1. So then 2 minus 1 gives us 1. F of 3 halves. So we'll go back to original function, and you replace your x with sets of parentheses. Now we'll put 3 halves in there. So we got 2 minus 3 halves squared. When you got a fraction, you're raising it to a power, you're going to apply that power, that second power, to the top and to the bottom. So 3 squared is 9, and 2 squared is 4. Now we can apply the mixed number rule here to simplify this. So I'm going to take 2 times 4, and I'll add the negative 9 all over 4. Now what the mixed number rule says is you take what's out in front, this number here, you're going to multiply it times your denominator. And then you add your number up on top, the numerator. And your denominator remains as is. Now notice where that negative went. I put it up with the 9. I did not put it down with the 4. Very important for the mixed number rule. Okay, so 2 times 4 is 8, minus 9 over 4, which gives us negative 1/4. Okay, so the next one, oh, by the way, I should show on if you got a TA3, TA4 calculator, if you type this in, you got 2 minus the beginning parentheses, 3 divided by 2, so 3 divided by 2, closing parentheses, and then the squared, and then you press enter. You get a decimal, and how you go from decimal to fraction on a TA3, TA4 is you do math, enter, enter. And that automatically gives us our negative 1/4. Okay, now the next one is f of 4x. And again, this is just evaluating a function. So we'll go back to our original function, and we'll replace our x with sets of parentheses. Evaluating is always the same. Whatever's inside this parentheses automatically goes here. So then we got 2 minus, now 4x squared. 4x times 4x gives us 16x squared. You can also, if everything inside your parentheses is either multiplication or division, and you're raising the parentheses to a power, you can take everything inside to that power. So we take 4 to the second power, which is 16. We take x to the second power, which is x squared. And that's our answer. What was that one? Okay, so 4 f of x. Now the 4 next to the f of x means multiplication. So on this one, we're just going to simply replace the f of x here with what f of x is equal to. This is not evaluating a function. So I'm going to have 4 times 2 minus x squared. Now notice that I put parentheses around a 2 minus x squared. It's because that 4 that's out in front has to be multiplied times everything. that follows it. Now here's a distributive property. 4 times 2 is 8, and 4 times negative x squared is negative 4x squared. And that's our answer. Next one is, what was that one? Okay, that one, and then f of negative x. Again, evaluating is always the same. You go back to your original function, you replace your x with sets of parentheses. Whatever is inside this parentheses automatically goes here, so put negative x in there. So we've got 2 minus negative x squared. Negative x times negative x gives us a positive x squared. So that'd be your answer. F of x minus 4. And again, this is evaluating, so go back to our original function, and where our x was, we'll put in a set of parentheses. So we've got 2 minus parentheses squared. Now whatever's inside the parentheses right here is automatically what we're going to put in right here. So put x minus 4 in there. Now x minus 4 squared we're going to rewrite as x minus 4 times x minus 4. We can't just square the x and square the negative 4. What messes it up is when there's a minus in here. So if you have subtraction or addition in there, all you can do is rewrite it in this form and then multiply them together. Now the 2 carries down, the minus carries down, and we're going to have a parentheses around whatever follows it. Because this minus right here has to flip the sign of everything that follows it. Now we're going to multiply these together. So I got x times x. I got x times negative 4. I got negative 4 times x. And I got negative 4 times negative 4. If you learned this technique in another class, that's FOIL. You multiply your first terms together, first terms in each set of parentheses. You multiply your outer terms together. That would be the outer ones when you're taking this as a whole. So this one times this one. And then your inner ones, negative 4 times x, those are your inner terms. And then your last terms in each set of parentheses, so negative 4 times negative 4. So we got 2 minus x times x is x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. Okay. So then we got 2 minus, always combine together like terms. Like terms where we have the same variable, the same power. These are both x at first. So we add or subtract the numbers that are in front. Negative 4 is negative 8x plus 16. Now when you got a negative in front of your parentheses, what this does is flips the sign of everything inside of your parentheses. It's like multiplying by negative 1. So this positive x squared becomes a negative x squared. This negative 8x becomes a positive 8x. And this positive 16 becomes a negative 16. So then we got negative x squared plus 8x, and we got 2 minus 16, which gives us negative 14. And that's our answer. Okay, that was this one. So f of x minus 4. This one, again, is not really evaluating a function. All it's doing is plugging in the value of whatever the function equals to right here. And this function was 2 minus x squared. So we're going to have 2 minus x squared, and then I'll bring down to minus 4. And then 2 minus 4 gives us negative 2. And that would be our answer. Our last one, f of x squared. Again, we're going to go through, replace our everywhere we have an x, we'll put in a set of parentheses. So replace all of the variables with parentheses. Now whatever's inside this parentheses automatically goes here, so put the x squared here. Now remember, when you're raising one exponent to another exponent, you multiply the exponents together. So 2 times 2 is 4, so this gives us x to the 4th. So our answer there would be 2 minus x to the fourth.